Happy Friday and welcome back to another episode and segment of Being Guillén. Welcome back, boys. We got Oney Guillén. So this is actually a gift to promote it, and we're supporting it. It's Bandwagon Sports. They got a shirt for the COVID-19. All the funds go to the Chicago COVID-19 response. So thank you so much. It's actually a beautiful shirt, Chicago.
Yeah, it's very comfortable too. Very comfortable.
And it means so much more now with the whole situation of what's happening. But Bandwagon Champs, check them out on social media. And it's 100% donated Chicago Community COVID-19 Response Fund. So check it out.
Just do it, please.
Do it. So jumping right away, it was a very, very busy past week. Once you think the week is not busy enough, it jumps in, and we want to jump in. We want to jump in with topics because, again, we can sit here and talk for 4 hours about everything that's happening in life at this moment. But it took Major League Baseball 9 days, to address the situation with George Floyd. May he rest in peace. If you do not know who George Floyd is, then
you're living under a rock.
You're living under a rock, literally. Was this too late for Major League Baseball to wait this long to release a statement?
I don't know. I'll go first and let my dad go. This is because I know that the NBA, you can always compare MLB to other leagues like NBA.
Which you should.
Because they're the top major sports in the country. I really feel like MLB is always 2 or 3 steps behind everybody else. And I think everybody can agree with that. I don't know. They have a lot on their plate, but so does everyone else. MLB's had a tough year with the scandals and everything. I don't know what took them so long to put out a statement. I mean, teams put out statements. I know the White Sox did, and other teams put out statements with what's going on. But MLB as a whole took a long time to put out a statement. It's one of the most diverse leagues in the country. It's the most diverse clubhouse in any sport. There's no other sport that has more minorities and diverse people playing because you have blacks, Latinos, Asians, people from all over the world. So it's kind of hard. You don't want to kick them while they're down because MLB's had such a tough go at it this whole year, but they have a lot on their plate. And Commissioner Manfred, it's a tough job, but I thought that they would come out with something a lot quicker and a lot sooner.
Well, I think you have to be careful exactly what you say, especially when they're coming from those offices. And every word you put it together, you make sure you have the right thing to say and the right time.
And don't make anyone mad.
Just because people, I keep saying every Friday, people is so sensitive right now. It was in the past. That's why I think the Major League Baseball, I know what to put their hands to say, okay, there was wrong. They got to be very, very, very careful anything they put up there because it can translate it the wrong way. And all the songs start getting worse. Right now, baseball going to the process. People think it's it's not about a cover, it's about money, it's about time, and that's why I think right now baseball is coming to the spot. They have to be very, very careful what you say.
I believe that sports and baseball, everyone's coming at a crossroads, a big crossroads of life. Of what we're doing. We're living in crazy times, but we as society, we look forward to to our sports coming back, and I really feel like the NBA is coming back in Orlando, and they're doing the tournament. They're doing the tournament, and they're coming back. So I hope and pray that MLB gets it together and there's some kind of season because
I wish that the statement had something about that Major League Baseball is going to be okay with a silent protest for players coming out
and not be reprimanded.
We see the young gentleman who actually happens to play.
My friend,
who happens to play with your team.
Yeah, he went from there to play in Mexico.
To play in Mexico.
It's sad because I talk to him every time we talk about it. We never. By the way, I'm not into that because by the way, I was eating with him and their steward in Monclova. And I take a picture and send it to Oney. Oney told me, he said, "Dad, you know who that guy is?" No, it's the catcher.
It's the guy that took the knee.
I said, "That's the guy." Oh, I got goosebumps just in case. And I go, "That's the guy taking the knee." And I almost start crying because I think this kid got talent. I think this kid's better than a lot of catchers in the big league. He's a lefty-handed, and now his mind is so. I don't say it's screwed up. it's just so confused and so you don't know
the
right thing.
Nobody
cared about it.
No one wanted the distraction, and that's something that you're not managing the big leagues because no one wants your distraction.
Would that bother you?
If you were managing, would that bother you?
No, because I have to respect people. It bothers me because first of all, if you want to do that, it's a lot of way to do it because people are going to misunderstand what you really want to do. You don't respect the flag.
Let me address this very, very quickly for our fans. If you're not educated and know what's happening, Colin Kaepernick was going to sit down originally. He spoke to a beret,
like a lot of people do because they don't believe religious purposes to stand.
He spoke to someone, and he said, "Hey, you might offend people that serve. How about you take a knee because that's what people do." He had the green light from someone who has served because he was never protesting about a flag, anything like that. It was about what's going on in the country, systematic oppression. And that's what people need to understand. Don't involve patriotism with what's going on. I asked you if you were bothered because I know that you were a big proponent of being out there for the national anthem, showing respect. But if you had players that kneeled, you should be okay with it.
Well,
because they're doing it quietly.
Well, everybody has their own way to do it. I rather than people. I don't mind the 18 guys knee than see them on the street,
right?
Looking for
going crazy,
and people can be die for that. People can get hurt from that, and at that particular time, don't go to get you anywhere. They're not going to get you anywhere. Like how many times we see? I'm from Venezuela. We're from Venezuela. We see the play. And they take us anywhere? No. I think there's a lot of ways to do it. And I don't blame the people who react that way. I don't blame at all because everybody has their own mentality. But this thing, when you put in sport, like, how many people come in this week to talk about this? I said,
So I have a question. Do you feel pressure, okay, because you have a certain level of fame? I saw people calling out Black players that we know personally for not making comments. Okay, guys that we know how they feel, but maybe they don't want the public to know how they feel. You talk to your best friend, Harold Baines, who happens to be Black.
Yeah.
You talk to him and say, hey,
I talked to Kenny Williams.
You talked to Kenny Williams, who happens to be Black. By the way, both your general managers were both black men. As a person like yourself, who you've said amazing things, you've gotten in trouble for other things, do you feel pressure from the fans or for somebody that you have to make a statement, or that if you don't, people are going to say, oh, Ozzy doesn't care about our cause?
But it's a funny thing because you got to be careful what statement you're going to make because, like I always say, you would hurt somebody's feeling, either party. I'm Venezuelan. It's a couple of years ago, it's a big problem in Venezuela. Huge. Kids getting killed. Getting shots by the governor. And I never say anything. The players call me like, hey, man, you're the big boss, but Then I said, listen, if I say something, and they're going to sell a safe life. I said, well, yeah, but in the meanwhile, you have to be careful because you will hurt somebody's feeling. It's not because you're not vocal. That don't mean you don't care.
Feel a certain way.
I don't care about
it's because people are saying now because obviously we've seen LeBron, we've seen the whole controversy with Drew Brees. They're saying if you're silent now, that your silence speaks volumes.
But here's the part where because Jim Brown said that he would never take a knee to the flag.
And he was a big civil rights guy.
So you get the Drew Brees thing is just because Drew Brees would never take a knee to the flag does not make Drew Brees a racist.
Absolutely.
Like Drew Brees might be donating money.
He's done a lot.
Might be doing a lot for the community. So again, you have to understand and have the conversation. And this is a part where I hope that Major League Baseball, when they talk, that they allow freedom of expression.
That's all we want.
If it's players wearing
a black sleeve. In United States, if you are famous or you're somebody and you say something, I say it because I know it.
Yeah.
You get in trouble.
Correct.
Wait a minute. That's supposed to be a free.
Yeah, but for this situation, like there was a football player. It's my fault for not having his name. I believe he's a football player. He was getting critiqued because he donated $1 million to educating police officers. Wow. Because he thinks the problem is that they don't get the training and they don't get the understanding of who they're policing. So do I think he's any less than anybody else? I don't. The thing with Major League Baseball, and the part that I think that leaves you to be on top of this, is the way that I look at Major League Baseball, I look at it as a huge industry and a huge corporation. You should be able to handle, okay, the negotiations, and you should be able to handle anything else that comes up. That's just how big of a capacity you have. I also think it's big because Major League Baseball makes money, okay, and pushes Jackie Robinson. They claim that they are the league that integrated and that broke the color barrier. So I feel like in that belief, in that honor, in having the Roberto Clemente Award and having the Jackie Robinson Day, that you have to be able to, any act of this way that you come out and say, hey, this is how we're going to deal with it. This is how we're going to moving forward. And I think it's a conversation. A lot of great outlets out there have talked with former Black players and talking about something that's underlining for Latino players who happen to be Black. Again, if you're not educated enough, if you are Latino from Latin America, there is an amazing, probably 100% chance that you are Spanish, Black, and some type of native. The reason that my color of skin is a little bit more brown than darker is because my Indian side, my native side, dominates more than the other two. But I have just as much Black as I do the Spanish. So yes. I think it's understanding that. And for someone like ourselves, it's like, okay, what color skin? I think it's the conversation. Also, it's the conversation that you cannot jump on someone and say, oh, this person's the racist, or this person's this, or this.
And we have someone that Lou Manny Rosario saying the person that donated the money was Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott. And he was getting critiqued, and I thought that he was doing the problem from another thing. And here's the part about baseball and sports that I think that I wanted to touch upon this, that I haven't thought about, because Kaepernick, I think because of his kneeling, he eventually sped up his process of getting released. I think that he could have probably played a couple more years. I think that he made, again, like this young baseball player, no one wanted the distraction.
And they said, let's release him.
So what if, okay, in sports, because we're arguing the next topic is collective bargaining and money and playing or not. If every player of Latino descent and every player of African-American descent, Black, says, and all the white players that support this cause, hence the fact that people are talking about Drew Brees, say we're not going to play again until these issues are met from a country standpoint.
I've always said that you know, to present a unified front, you feel like, you know, Colin and some of the guys were on an island
by themselves.
So if when the season starts and LeBron James and these guys, you know, take a knee, or they say, hey, this is what we're going to do, it just can't be.
But do it right now.
Yeah,
by the way, the NBA is not opening. Instead of coming back and playing with COVID, said, we are not going to play your little tournament because we do not feel respected. We want A, B, and C. It doesn't have to mean change. It's just tell them what you want.
Yeah. And that's that is the only thing that I believe that would, other than obviously tweeting, you know, helps, but actions from a large group, from the top leaders of the league.
Okay, my concern is how many players in the NBA? 300?
Yeah, there's 10, 11 teams, okay. 11 guys.
Do you think 300 people say we're not going to play, and that would save? I know people love sport in the United States, love sport. Do you think if those guys say, well, we not do this, we're not going to play, they're going to resolve the really problem we have? We have problems. They have problems from the 18s. And doing 20.
Yeah, but they're not going to solve it. But you bring the attention.
You bring awareness.
Like you bring awareness and you bring attention.
For a couple of days.
But you make it a point and you say, we want to accomplish A, B, and C, because the only reason that we watch these individuals play is because of the talent level that we believe that they have. So if we already know that if you bring replacement players, no one's going to watch your league. No one's going to watch.
I understand that.
Everybody that says like, "Oh, my replacement players."
My problem is that going to resolve the problem? Say, hey, we want A, B, C.
It's not going to resolve it, but it definitely
A, B, C. No chance. Because if something happened in baseball or any sport, well, I'm going to say baseball, sport, NBA, watching a little bit. Something happened to Pedro. They put Pedro RIP, PRIP. A week later, they donate the shoes and Pedro going, AP going.
But this is a different situation. This is a situation of how the country was built, and I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I was thinking about, because when you look at all the big names that are writing about this and the guys in sports, it's all the biggest names in sports, and all the guys that are supporting, that are getting guys like Drew Brees. Yeah. It's like, here's your chance to protest arm in arm with your teammates, saying, I'm going to give my sacrifice, my money, and my family's well-being for you guys to accomplish something and move the needle a little bit forward. Is it right or wrong? No. I was just thinking about like when Colin did, when Mr. I would keep messing his name up. When Mr. Kaepernick did it, he was on an island by himself, just like this young man in baseball. No one said, "Hey, you shouldn't fire him."
Well, now it feels like he was ahead of his time. And I do feel like in 20 years or 30 years,
the media changed the story.
There'll be a
the media changed the story. The reason that just like they changed his story about his comment when he made the they make it a bigger like. I went from like a comment of like, yeah, I think that guy was impressive because they were trying to kill him and nobody's killed him to obviously a full blown comment.
Exactly.
So this was a protest against police brutality, and they made it about the flag
and patriotism.
Yeah. This guy's so let's go on to the next topic, the one that is very serious and one that I believe that if there was no COVID-19. This was still going to happen eventually, I think, in 2021 because of the way that they're arguing.
Did COVID-19 disappear now with the
Yeah.
I saw people eating at restaurants. I'm so confused.
By the way, everyone, Chicago reopened yesterday before we jump to the next topic. Everything was packed.
Yeah, but the thing is, I told you guys, as soon as summer hit Chicago, I will die the way I want it. I want to die drunk.
I'm going down with COVID the way I want it.
It's hot out there, and the people are out on the streets.
So this is something that's brought up to baseball. Everyone's back out. So what's the difference between being in a restaurant, sitting outside, and being in a baseball game with fans?
I say that. This all. I don't want to say fake. I don't want to say fake.
No, it exists.
Look, but please, you in or you out? We arguing. Your neighbor asked me yesterday. I was put water in the grass.
You're being my
garden. Be my garden. Make sure they don't confuse me. I'll be the garden. And I told them, you should be playing baseball. I said, no. I said, why? Because so many little stupid things behind the scene. It's not going to be fun. Oh, the players can do this. The players can do that. No fans in the field. Now the broadcasting has to be from.
Well, broadcasters aren't traveling. This is my question.
I'm losing a lot of money.
Here's my question, though. Okay. For anybody, so let's get first into the topic before I get into what I want to say about the traveling. So owners reject the Players Association of 114 games. This is the only time in the history of baseball the associations asked for more games than they thought that they could physically fit into a schedule. So the owner's rebuttal was 50 games, which was way off.
Okay, why do you want to play? Don't play.
By the way, 50 games means 25 games at home. I mean, my men's league plays more games.
Exactly.
So do you think 114 games was way too much?
But right now, please, 0 game. Believe me, I make money out of baseball. I live out of baseball. But first of all, you got to start getting close to say, okay, yes, let's go spring training. You're going to take a week to move everybody in to spring training. And then you're going to take a 15, 20 days to get everybody playing the season. They got to move roster. It's so many little details is out of the system yet. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. We just listen.
Well, and everything's catching up. And the part that I say this is because
I think it's getting too late.
No, but I'm saying though, every city in the country is opening up. Some never even closed. People are going to restaurants. Okay, people are protesting. People are out in the streets, and people are doing this. They're rubbing elbows or doing this. So how come baseball, which again, you'd probably bring in the same attendance as you were before, because not every baseball game was sold out. So basically, grab 5 seats and spread it out. Oh, you cannot have your broadcasting team travel to the city that they're in. But you just traveled, and I just saw 5 of my friends are in Arizona living their life, and they're back in Chicago, no restrictions.
Yep.
My friend was like, "Hey, I don't want to come over your house. Why? Oh, because I was just in Arizona for a couple of days, and I don't want to be around the baby. He's doing it upon himself because of my baby. Okay, I'm gonna have a baby. He'd still come over, and it was up to me. So I think that people are like, okay, we know that it's real, but I'm gonna take my own risk. Why not open up?
I will say this: what I've been.
I want to walk in the studio. And I'm going to have 5 people in the studio, and then next to Leila.
What I feel happened is this.
This is so funny,
I feel that the owners, the MLB owners, the COVID was a gift from God, and they're using this as a reason to not pay guys and not have a season, and they're going to use this. This is going to push over for the collective bargaining agreement in 2022, whenever it comes. And I feel like
21, no?
Or 21. But I feel like this is what happened. This fell in their lap, and they're saying, if we don't have to do this, let's not pay the players. And they're also leaking stories, trying to make the players seem like the bad guys.
So sponsorship. You're not going to tell me that in a 25-game home game, you're going to make enough money and get AT&T get Cisco, get Verizon to pay you that much money for just 25 home games with no fans.
If I've always said this, and I've always said that 82 would be my cutoff point, and it's getting to that time, like he said. They also said that the players also said that they don't mind playing through November, that they don't mind competing against the NFL, that they don't mind playing.
But again, the NFL, people need to understand this. The NFL is just one day, and then the world could be ending COVID protests, and people are still going to be watching the NFL.
Correct.
So, like, could you watch your baseball team on the side? Absolutely, especially if it's on the run. So
it's the last thing that I will say on this topic for me is just that soccer comes back in Europe. NBA comes back. The NFL, they're playing. Fans they're playing. And MLB is the only one that doesn't.
So who loses? So who wins and loses in this situation if there is no baseball in 2021?
Well, first of all the players that need that money, they don't make money. People that work on TV, they're not making money. Everyone loses, including the owners, because they're going to make money. But who loses the most? The fans and the sport.
I think the sport.
If every other major sport is on TV and MLB doesn't put a product out, with everything that's going on in the country and your dispute was money, it looks very, very bad. People look selfish. People look greedy. Like, people are on the streets dying and rioting and looting and
so the players take prorated money.
And yes, because this is.
And they're only playing half of the time.
This is uncharted waters. This is not going to be the norm. You bite the bullet. You take whatever money. You try to play as many games as you can, and then next year, and then next year, back to business.
People understand when they talk about prorated. I said I don't think that they would pay a player $250 million to play 82 games. What do you mean? I said they'd probably pay him $100 million.
Everyone has lost money. Obviously, that is a lot of money, which even makes it worse. People aren't working. People can't pay mortgages. People can't pay bills. I know that they're the most special 30 most athletic people in the world, but right now, what's going on in the world is bigger than sport. It looks very, very selfish when everything that's going on, and you're just like, we can't get, everyone else is playing, but we can't get it done because we can't agree on money. You know how bad that looks? That looks awful. Yeah, that looks very, very bad.
Maybe they're right or they're wrong, but
it doesn't matter because I agree with both sides, and I'll always be on the player's side because, I grew up with you and my family. I always root for players, and I want everyone to get their money. But these are uncharted waters. This is like unprecedented, nothing like we've ever seen before.
What's a shot of water?
Uncharted water, like we've never been here. This is new.
Okay, you're confusing me. I couldn't follow you. Like, what?
Uncharted water.
Like when you're like navigating the boat and you're like, hey, we've never been here before. This is going to be new. It's not going to be the normal, but
opposite of the problem with the black man getting killed by a cop. This is not uncharted waters. We've been here before.
And with the police brutality, we've been here. It's been over and over again. So I feel like everything's going to be on. NBA is already back. They're back.
The thing with the leagues, okay, the part is interesting. And again, I'm not a scientist. I got C's. It was my hardest class. I was not good in science. But everyone tells me, I'm like, hey, every time I write something on Facebook, which I get destroyed because I play every side, they tell me, the reason that you're outside is because COVID does not exist outside. It can't survive in the air. And I'm like, so then why is Major League Baseball that plays outside not playing, but the NBA that plays indoors with the air conditioning, they are playing inside? Oh, and by the way, they're all going to be playing in the same building. So if someone has COVID in there, they're all going to catch it. It is.
Okay, wait a minute. How about the Ozark, the party they have?
Oh, the Ozarks. No one got Rona there. People got other stuff.
But no one didn't get Rona. They got STD.
But somebody argued with me against that because they were like, well, honestly, it hasn't been 14 days. I said, I'm just saying this. If this is as contagious and as dangerous as it is, this is how I look at it. 100 people go to the baseball game, okay? This is super contagious. After the game, 50 people get sick, 25 pass away, a travesty. Or 100 people go to the game, 2 get sick, 1 survives, 1 was over the age. So again, when you're looking at like risk versus reward and how life is, like when you go to the stadium, you're not going like this to people. No. Like someone sneezes, like if I know that my friend's sick with influenza or something, I'm like, bro, don't come here.
No come here, no come anywhere.
Yeah, that's just
common sense. I'm gonna see you at the ballpark.
Listen, it's just everyone out there saying, you get credit, and guys are thinking about my pension year and my playing. if we don't play MLB and there's other sports, we're going to take a hit way worse than the strike in 94. Because everyone's going to really say, and we got people commenting on it right now, that it's all about money.
But Indy, Puerto Rico just created an independent baseball league, by the way, for the people that allegedly can't play in the winter league because of the whole, like, they own you, they do this. They just created an independent baseball league for minor leaguers.
I tell you what, Venezuela will have independent league because
Venezuela will play. They'll find a way. Venezuela's like the country that says, with the world's ending, we'll find a way to play baseball. But all these leagues are popping up. And I'm not saying they're going to compete with Major League Baseball with money. But they're going to give a place for people to play, and they're going to take it out. Puerto Rico already got an independent.
Puerto Rico, it can't even support the normal league.
They have an independent league. They have an independent league. We'll talk about it later on. But I'm saying though, even if they don't try, like I've been approached 3 times to have an independent league in the United States for winter ball. Hey, consult on this because everybody sees. By the way, this is a huge industry. So if you get to grab 10% of the attention, that's a lot of money. You're not maybe making $100 million and you're making a couple $1 million because there is baseball from these talents. You're going to be able to compete it. I believe baseball is a flirting, okay, with they have a monopoly right now on
this is very, very, and again, I feel for everyone that has to deal with this because obviously these are tough decisions to make. But this is very, 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 very. You're walking on eggshells because if this cracks and it goes the wrong way and other leagues are playing, I don't think we're ever going to see, which I don't agree with because I think guys get to pay too much money anyway. Like we're not going to see $300 million contracts.
Well, that's never going to happen again.
Like, yeah, well, we're not going to see. We're not going to see. Well, that's going to affect the game. I believe that they should just stop paying guys all those big contracts. Raise the league minimum
as a sponsor. I'm Vida Baseball. I want to sponsor. I'm the Guardian. I want to sponsor. And there is no Major League Baseball, and I have $100,000 sitting in my lap that we're going towards sponsorship.
That didn't go to the KBO?
What money? Don't you think I'll be looking for other ways to sponsor?
Yeah, of course. That's the taxes right.
That's what I'm saying, though. You don't think I'm going to go to the NBA? Or I'm going to go to the MLS?
I'll tell you what.
I'm going to go to hockey?
I'll tell you one thing. The NBA, to all my NBA people out there, they're going to be watching because, sorry for, the Bulls aren't in there. But they're going to play, and I don't know how many games. It's like 25 games. They're going to reseed the playoffs, and then so those games are going to mean something, and then they're going to go jump right into the playoffs.
You know what tournaments mean? The tournaments are as valuable as what we give it and the trophy that we give it. Okay, so they can say we're playing a 10-game season.
They're going to have a lot of people watching.
Everyone's going to be watching because everyone misses. That's what baseball does not understand.
So if you get a season out there, bam, you throw 80 games out there, say, hey, guys, we're going to do this. Everyone's going to get less money, but we're going to play. I guarantee you people will watch those games.
You know when we're going to start playing? I guarantee you. When I'm moving back to Le Mans,
just say, the season's done.
Start driving to the city. Now you're like, oh my God, I got to do all this by myself. You watch. But it like I say, it's getting, I talk to people behind the scene, behind, the real people, the people that really work. The people work for less money. They just do it.
Organization.
The down here, the ball. I talk to maybe about 8 people. And to right now, they don't say anything. The only thing they say is just be prepared, be ready, just in case. Okay, if those people, very important people to start
move the game forward,
they don't know anything yet. That's why I say it's not going to be baseball because it's going to happen so fast. Because they say, okay, Oney, listen, get the team ready, get yourself ready because we might going to start in June 4th.
I've been ready. I start June 27th.
Yeah, but as soon you say that, now you have an idea. You might not start, but you have an idea. You calling hotels,
right.
Calling
doing all the logistics.
You're calling like.
So before we go to the next topic, do you think there will be a season? Yes or no?
No.
Do you think there'll be a season?
Yes.
I do as well. I think there'll be a season. It'll be like 75.
And by the way, I conclude
because they're going to take so much heat.
Well, I wanted there to be a season because I want to.
The only reason I want to have a season because, like everybody say,
you get paid.
I'm not going to pay you, no, but I want to have a season because, again, people are going to think I'm crazy. In this whole world of COVID-19.
You are crazy?
I'm saying, no, because I call
people think you're crazy. If you leave with them,
by the way,
I have been here for 2 months.
By the way, why? Because I sit there and I read and I'm like, common sense? Yes. And I read and I look at things and I'm like, okay, this versus this. If you come out with the season, okay, and I see people eating on Rush Street, if I see people eating and hanging out at bars, but you cannot go to the stadium as a fan in a stands, I am going to be like, you guys just got hoaxed. I mean, what is the difference between being in a rooftop with 75 people that be in the stadium? I will guarantee you this. At a bar, I went to a lot of them. I used to grab people's drinks and be like, give me a drink. I've never been in a stadium and been like, hey, man, let me take a beer next to you.
You're right. But, the only thing I care right now about my people back in
NBC?
No, my NBC, they're working. People back in Spain, the bullfighter can make any money. But, and also, golf. As soon as golf games open, hey, my life changed. Like
you got happier.
I got happier. I told my wife. I never talked to her like that. I never do, and I never did. And I talked to him and he go, the golf game. He told me like, you're in a hurry. You're going to play golf. I said, no, I'm not playing golf today. By the way, I play golf from Monday to Thursday. You guys like it or not? Because that's the only thing I do.
I want you to be the new. I want you to play 36 holes one day. You can't do it. Because I said personally that I wouldn't golf until there was foursomes allowed and golf carts because I don't like walking. And the first day that was allowed, I was on the golf course, and I'm not going to golf 4 or 5 days, but I'll golf 3.
I haven't played at all. So next topic for everyone who's watching TV
kids.
True. Until I have kids. Next topic, a very strong one. So after the Last Dance, people wanted more. There was the document, which we will cover hopefully down the line, about his wild life and amazing pitching career, and obviously his life cut too short. But then a man that I actually got to meet, and I actually got to meet him on top of this game. He actually came to a White Sox stadium.
You have a picture with him?
I have a picture with him.
And I'm upset that I don't have a picture
and he has he made the coolest wristband ever made for an athlete.
I used to wear them.
Livestrong. But if I knew what Livestrong meant, again, just like when I was growing up with people using steroids in the WWE, Livestrong basically meant this new documentary has been a subject, Lance, which starts the rise and the fall of the great Lance Armstrong. Again, if you don't know who Lance Armstrong is, he's probably one of the greatest athletes of my time. Tour de France, if you're a bike rider, if you don't think riding your bike is hard, go out there and give me 10 miles. It's a really good sport.
You can ride like this.
No. It's the speed that they have. It's a very challenging sport. Again, Lance Armstrong. By the way, he made cycling cool. Like that's how. Like if you make basketball cool,
dated like Cheryl.
How cool is that? Not too many people in the United States like cycling. All over the world.
In Venezuela, people watch cycling because they watch weird sports.
No, because that's what.
Okay, when the first bullfighter becomes as big as Lance Armstrong, I would say the sport's made it.
Nobody.
Tiger Woods made golf really cool. When Lance Armstrong was out there doing this, I said, I'm looking into a bike. I started biking because of it. You Peloton now because of it. People really got into the whole racing. He changed the sport. Like people are like, oh, Lance Armstrong's teammate.
No, he's like the Babe Ruth.
He is the Babe Ruth of cycling. Of cycling. So Oney, please tell me about this documentary that you were like, this was the thing.
I mean, first of all, I didn't even know it was coming out. And then next week they have Bruce Lee coming out. It's going to be amazing. I saw this documentary and it's 2 parts, and it's each one.
Is Bruce Lee on ESPN also?
June 7th.
So the 4-letter word company basically started releasing awesome content because they didn't have.
When they're going to do mine.
Yeah, well, true. They're going to call it. Hey, first of all, I saw the Bruce Lee's coming out, and then the Sammy and McGuire's coming out. So ESPN finally they caught on. They're doing great. I saw this documentary and it hit me on. I watched it twice. Cycling, unbelievable sport, so hard. The Tour de France. Lance opens his heart out about how long he's been, taking the sauce. The PEDs is a very common thing in cycling. Again, it had so many connections to baseball. They had Mike Fry. The only reason he gets caught is because his teammate snitched on him.
Was his teammate using it?
Yes.
Was he getting championships too?
Yes.
So why did his teammate snitch?
Because when his teammate wanted to come back, nobody signed him. He goes, "Oh, you guys are gonna like blackball me? These guys are all doing it." And bam, everything hits. Lance Armstrong opens his heart out. He lets you know how long he's been doing it since he was 21. but everybody was doing it. I mean, I found so many similarities with
They should have basically.
It reminded me a little bit of Jose Canseco's era.
Right. For me, how it hit was, it reminded me, I could see a lot of similarities with like baseball, cycling,
the snitch.
Yeah. And then it was like, wow, I didn't know, I wasn't very informed.
The new word, whistleblower.
Somebody snitched on him, and they asked him, like, will you ever be friends with this? Will you ever be goddamn snitch? Will you ever be friends with this guy? And he was like, never. Like, never.
By the way, but this guy also made money. He didn't give the money back. He didn't say, "Hey, here are my titles." He didn't say, "Hey, Lance."
Oh, they banned him from the from the sport, but he then says, "I respect this guy because his balls." Like, he then says, he calls everybody out. Why is this guy on TV? And then he did it too. Why is this guy on TV? The same thing that people talk about. Why A-Rod, but why not Palmero? Why A-Rod, but
why is McGuire coach, but not Sammy?
Exactly. So why is Gary Sheffield have a hard time getting in, but this one does?
But Andy Pettit is hug.
Yes, but Andy Pettit's hug. So I saw so many similarities because Lance Armstrong at the end, basically, he said, "I'm going to do this documentary and I'm going to let people know. I'm going to let them know the truth." Boom, boom, boom. Why is George this guy? Why are these guys making money off cycling? But me, the guy that made cycling, you guys want to blackball me, and he lost a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
he had to pay the United States government, lawyer, everybody was suing him because he defrauded. Just unbelievable. And then I found a piece of the documentary that I tied in with parenting, and this is a serious portion, is that what made him come clean and what made him say, like, wow, I got to do something about this. His son, who plays football at Rice, didn't know that. His son was defending he heard his son was defending him at school. My dad didn't do this. Stop saying this. It's like me defending you.
Wow.
He heard his son defending him. And Lance knew that, like, you're lying. I did do that. And that's when he went the other way and said, I gotta come clean because my own son is defending basically a lie. And then I started thinking about you. And I started thinking about everything that's going on. I was like, wow, like it sucks that he put his son in that position because Lance carried the lie for a long time. He was like Pete Rose. I didn't do it, deny. And now he says these things, and now I'm like thinking about, like, wow, if our own father put us in that position that we're defending him, and then all of a sudden, like, hey, you look like an idiot. He was lying the whole time. And I say, like, thank you for never putting us in that position to whatever you've done has always been the truth, and never, like, put us in that spot. Like, can you imagine you being like, my dad didn't do that, and they were like, yes, he did.
Well, let me tell you one thing about it.
You have to. I have goosebumps. You have to watch this documentary. You have to watch this documentary.
I'm 53 years old. You're not going to see me at 70 and 80 and 85 and 70. I never said that about Fidel. I never did. And you two guys and Oney and my grandchild can say, my grandfather, my dad never said that because I never did. I'm 56 years old right now. And you can copy, you can write it, you can put it.
Well, you did say what you said was that you admired him.
Admired him. Like, what things admired?
Yeah. I love. But I think like admiring, like you admire El Chapo. Just like,
I admire a lot of people. Did. I admire Jose. I admire Castella. I know about Sebastian Castella. I admire Luis Bolívar. A lot of people don't like who fights because I'm not saying I love him. You say one thing, you say I love him. I'll say I admire him.
Well, you can admire anybody. I'm saying though, like now in the world of Netflix, okay.
I admire Pablo Escobar. I probably killed my friend, one of my friend's father.
Correct. So like what someone hates, somebody else loves. So here in the United States, we have an obsession from rap to music to TV with Pablo Escobar, and people literally pay to go to Colombia to see this guy's house. Mm-hmm. If you talk to someone from Colombia, not only are they embarrassed, they're embarrassed. They hate him. I'll give you another one. Chicago, Mr. Al Capone, one of the worst human beings in the history of mankind.
Now he has a bad movie, by the way.
A horrible movie. The worst movie we've ever seen. But Al Capone has tours, and people are like, "This is where he is buried."
Yeah, that's what I said.
So again, sometimes people admire for whatever reason. They admire the up and coming, and the guys like El Che Guevara. People wear him on a shirt. Right. There's people that admire him for what he stood for. There's other people that think the guy was a mass murderer. So again, in this day and age, and I keep saying this, and this is why I want to talk about Lance Armstrong when we talked about Barry Bonds. Okay, if Sammy Sosa and Barry Bonds, in my opinion, my Oney Guillén Jr., nobody else's, if they did not look physically like the way that they look, or act towards the media the way that they acted towards the media, if they were the people that were like, hi, media, I'm best friends with you, let's be together. Even though in their private life, they're probably like, I hate this dude. That's the thing people don't get. They were never fake.
And that also, same thing with Lance. I guess he wasn't very friendly.
That's what I'm saying, though, because the media controls the narrative.
Yes.
And there's people in the media, including myself, because I've done it with people, and then I apologize and say, man, that guy's not like that. When I get to know them, is, oh, I don't like that guy. Why? Because the guy's quiet, the way that he plays. So I feel like Barry Bonds always had a chip on his shoulder. Okay, why? Because that's Barry Bonds' godfather's Willie Mays. Good luck figuring that one out. The guy was just like, that's who he is. Michael Jordan, we were critiquing him. That's the way he is. Michael Jordan, by the way, being that competitive and being that nice to the media usually doesn't exist. Michael was nicer to the media than he was to everybody on his team and his front office. But people get mad. So the media is like, I'm going to get
Michael manipulate the media.
Correct.
I got two, my friend, but all you guys.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying, though. So for Barry Bonds and for Sammy, no one comes out to defend them because they're like getting back at them saying, oh, for all those years of you getting Frank Thomas, because you're like, oh, now it's your turn to pay for like all the years that you did. So there's athletes that unless you're super nice and you play the Derek Jeter card, we all get together. Not everyone's like that. So I'd rather have a person be real than come off as fake. Why? Because then you have A-Rod, who wasn't the most likable guy media-wise, but he tried to be that guy, and everybody's like, this guy's so fake. So that's the storyline of who you are. Kobe Bryant, man, was more hated when he played than when he retired. When he was playing, people hated him. Go back and read the articles. They hate you. You were managing. People were cursing you out. You're horrible because you're twannis. Now they're like, oh, we miss Ozzy. So I feel like we try to judge the person for their art. And I give props to Mr. Lance Armstrong. Why? Because I admire you as a father for getting in front of the podium and getting worn out by the media and a community, okay? Because of something that you offended someone. You said, I'm going to sit here and wear it. You always are accountable to what you do, okay, and what they think of you. So for him to do that, I admire that from Lance Armstrong to come out and say, it's like, yeah, I was the best, but this is the truth, and this is why I did it. And by the way, Lance Armstrong cheated, okay, because he wanted to win, and he wanted to make money.
And even everybody know around him that they were cheating too.
Yes, everybody. Well, Lance Armstrong did not. Again, Lance Armstrong did not come in and say, I have this thing called PEDs. And now we will use it, and I will be the best. No. We're going to change the sport. Somebody else was using PEDs. They weren't just as good as Lance.
His name is Michel Ferrari, and
so he was a pioneer.
He was a doctor.
So he was a pioneer.
And he was the one working with guys. Lance saw other guys like, wow, these guys are that much better than me. What's going on?
So I have a question. We were talking about it when you did it, when you were doing the steroids thing, and you've never talked bad about them. Was there a point that you said, I might have to take this to compete? Because you're the perfect person. You're 160 pounds. You're considered a punch and Judy, and everyone in your position is literally year by year just getting bigger. So again, I am not saying that anyone took it, but if you look at baseball between 1986 and just pick one position, say this is Ozzy, and this, like, I love it like science, like this is the actual regular human being in 1986 in Major League Baseball, and then you literally start looking at the picture, and then you start seeing like the revolution of hitting. Shortstops, 6'1", 230. I bench press 250. It's like the position changed. So you as a player, you're sitting there, and that's why I don't critique Wally Joyner. Wally Joyner's like, I'm a gap-to-gap guy hitter.
I'm gonna stay this way.
Now everyone's 230 and dropping 50. Like, you got to be like, this is not fair. So for you, when you saw those guys getting bigger, even if they were doing PEDs, eating their Wheaties, praying to a higher God, whatever they were doing, you can decide for yourself. But you as a player, what were you thinking in your head? Like, was there ever a time like, man, I better start cheating or else I'm going to be left behind?
Let me tell you one thing about 1980, whatever, before all those states coming up, playing was on the stuff. In Major League Baseball, it started looking for the balls, the ball it was used.
They said
it was
tighter.
flying. They wanted no players got beat.
By the way, everyone, why does the ball always get beat?
No, seriously. Like, they would go to the ball. They went to Costa Rica when they make the balls and find out.
Investigate.
They asked me, they asked me about it. Hey, you think the ball's used? I said, well, no, they want the pitch to me because every time I hit it,
did you ever go for like 2 home runs?
I remember that code. I swear to God, I remember that code. I told the guys in Chicago, I said, what? Well, I don't know, but maybe they told me the wrong one. I said, why? Because every time I hit a ball, it just barely makes it.
I wish there was like an Oney Guillén season where you went from like 2 home runs to like 35.
But yes, I do, because all of a sudden, not when I was playing. I remember going to a spring training one game, and Robin Ventura was next to me. We walked to the dugout, and we see the thing he was on the field, and I was like, what?
These guys are huge.
Oh my, no. I remember. I remember the guy. It was. I can say that because as soon as I said the name of the stadium,
the town,
they know. Are we walking? And I remember the guy went next to me. Roy Ventura go, oh my God!
But I'll say it. Now that I'm a kid and I play in the video games and I'm playing the throwback games, and I look again. I'm a huge nerd at looking at stuff. You look at the starting lineup of the Chicago White Sox, just in size. I don't even know why you guys were thinking about fighting the Oakland Athletics. They had every guy by like 55 pounds. Literally every guy. Coaches.
By the way, wait. I see guys that was out of baseball going to Oakland. All of a sudden, those guys
resurrected their lives. No, so that's what I'm saying. Though, so like as a competitor though, because I'm going to be honest, in where I compete, okay, if I'm doing this show and my competitive show, and the guys got like this program, and our thing is software. And they got something.
I gotta like go at them. And
imagine you doing like us doing this live stream.
I remember
and there's somebody that with one button they get like TV quality.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be like you're not gonna go do it?
I remember Frank Thomas told me about that. They're cheating. They are cheating. And like, shut up, Frank. No, honestly, they're cheating. I thought they were cheating like Cork or old school thing, and they cheating. That was Jambi win the MVP. And I keep, Frank never told me why they were cheating, why they were cheating. No, honestly, they cheating. And like,
but you know the
they don't told me so few guys. I go, okay, fine. I say, I'll find now, years later, what Frank Thomas was telling me.
But again, I think as a when you're the best,
I never said anything.
But just like Lance Armstrong said, there's something off. Because as a competitor, you're like, I'm working out.
But and you can like he said that he was like hiding and he's like something's going on.
Okay, I have a question. If you ask, it's a movie or whatever, but Alex Rodriguez, if you told the guys got caught or buried after be a Hall of Fame, it should be a Hall of Fame. He goes say, you know what, guys? Yes, I'm sorry, I did it. Right after, they're not going to say before, but they can say after. The best player in the history, one of the best players in the history of baseball, is Rafael Palmeiro.
He is.
And Rafael has been treated in the United States like he killed 1,000 kids, he no pay taxes. Baseball treats that man like he just a one.
They treat Palmeiro like he didn't play taxes, like he's the one that started COVID.
Correct. So again,
I was watching a game yesterday, and Sammy was throwing out first pitches to World Series. Like they would bring him in, he'd throw out
Sammy Sosa and Mark.
And you know what he said at the end of the interview? You know what he said at the end of the interview? He goes, "Baseball been very, very good to me." Like
so,
it was like a whole.
So here's the thing, though. Lance Armstrong. Okay, so he's there. He's pedaling. It's like me. Like I've gone to school with person A.
I mean, everyone
and person A is doing that much better than me. I'm like, they're doing something. They're doing something because I know how I can compete against this guy. So watch the documentary. But I love the fact, like in baseball, though, I love when he talked about. I think the whole redemption thing, because again, I think that right now owners, players, president, police officers, human beings, if you have made a mistake in your life, or you used to think one way, there is nothing wrong for you saying, hey, you know what? Man, this stuff, I was wrong. And it's better. If COVID-19 was something that you guys misprojected, don't be like, okay, well, now we lied because we didn't know what it was, but now we're going to keep it making a lie because we want to admit that we were wrong. Just be like, hey, guys, you know what? This COVID-19 thing, we really freaked out. It's not as deadly as it is. open up stadiums, open up this. Let's get life back together. Hopefully, we won't get it wrong next time.
Oh,
but that's what I mean, though. Like owners right now, are like,
well, you gotta say what you are like. One day I was talking about Alex Rodriguez. One day I said something about Alex Rodriguez. One day, spring training, they asked me if Alex Rodriguez was Dominican.
Oh, well, you apologize.
And I said, it's not. No, I don't say Dominican. He cannot represent Dominican
You
Republic.
said he shouldn't represent Dominican
Because
Republic.
why? Because it's a better player than him. Represent whatever. I went to play golf. In the middle of the golf, I couldn't play. I called Scott Rifle. So Scott, I need to talk to the media tomorrow, 7 o'clock press conference. Scott Rifle didn't know nothing about what happened. What happened? I said, please do. I called Bob Beto. Told Bob Beto exactly what I say about that man. I had the guts next day to sit with the media and I take the heat. I say, I apologize to Yankees fan, I apologize to Alex Rodriguez, I apologize to his teammate, and I apologize to his family because it wasn't my problem if Alex Rodriguez played for Haiti.
And now you won't even comment on that.
But I call myself, call the media. Nowadays, people, I don't know why people hate me that much.
By the way, what you did,
nobody do it.
No, I'm saying though, everyone has an opinion when a guy is from two countries, what country
Yeah, of course.
That's it. I feel bad.
No, only for good players.
You mean to tell me that Ted Williams shouldn't be for Team Puerto Rico?
No, I thought when they were shirts when they say Ted Williams is Mexican, I said, no, it's not.
And Reggie Jackson.
Hey, you know what? I never apologize to Garcia Parra and Latino Hall of Fame. Man, me and Garcia Parra in Latino Hall of Fame, then I go, and he mentioned that too in his speech. He mentioned like, well, the Latino thing. I'm sitting behind listening, but I say, yes, I have a different opinion about Latinos. When you're from Venezuela, I'm Venezuela. Oh, really? Sing the national anthem. Or do something about
trade. I feel like my biggest, and I know we're almost here to wrap up, but everyone should watch the documentary. And I connected a lot of things, everything that's going on in the country. My biggest takeaway after everything I've said, I feel like parents, and I thought about you, and I thought about you because obviously you're the closest people to me. That what a responsibility parents have now more than ever. You're lucky that Adela and your son are younger because if they were 7, 8, 9, 10, they could ask you.
Oh, I'm happy though. I'm happy that they're younger because they're not. I don't have to reprogram them.
Right, because they're too young to know this. Because just a couple days ago, something happened to me in my own home. Everything that's going on in the country right now, it just leads me to believe, like, wow, like we've regressed. We've gone so far back. Parents now have such a huge responsibility to their kids, how they're going to raise them, how not to see see people for their character instead of their color, instead of seeing black, white, or green. You just because kids aren't born disliking other races.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of exactly what you're saying. The history of your team, every team at one point did or said something that was racist in their history of their sport. That's a fact just because pretty much everyone in the country did. But how do you change history, okay? Every time they talk about the Boston Red Sox, they say, oh, a team with a rich history of racism. It's because still in the fans, in the stands, there is that feel. They did the whole thing for the passing of this gentleman with the lights in the stadium. How do you make this better? If you're in the stands, okay, and someone says a racist comment, not only one person, but everyone stands up and says, what are you doing? If I'm in a stadium, okay, and I hear Ozzy or Adela say something of a player's color, I stop and I says, number one, where did you learn that?
And you reprimand.
And you reprimand and said, you talk about this person's skill, and you say, boo him for his 230 average, but don't talk about his mom, don't talk about his color of his skin. That has nothing to do with his performance there. That is what he's doing with his job. That is his personal life. So I feel like you have to educate someone, and you have to stop them and say, wait a minute. That's not, that's not okay.
And that is a difference. That's what I want to get to. That's what I want to get to with my father's profession and everything that's going on. We weren't raised to look at people in a certain way. We respect everyone that respects you. And now parents, that's what's going on. It's a lack of good parenting, a lack of a household, a lack of morals, everything that's going on in the country. And you see people, I saw the other day, people even taking down George Floyd's poster because they were white and they didn't want anyone promoting it. I didn't know there's so much hate in the world, and it all starts at home.
But now, especially now from today all the way to whatever it is, now is the time to teach those kids exactly what it is, because they're living their life like you're talking. All those kids do the right. Okay, I don't think it was right, whatever it is. I don't want to get in politics thing, but why you are here for? I don't know. I just black man got killed. Okay, but hey, it's what you go here for? Just tell me. I think it's an old job to tell, hey, this has been happening for a long time. We have to get better. We have to get better. I think the problem is not society. How you say that? Society. Problem is in home, in my house.
Oh, I agree. And I also, Steve Kerr made a comment that I totally agree with. I feel like that generation is getting older and they're passing away of really that lived it. People that lived in the 60s and the 50s. Us, the generation that's younger, I feel like they're going to be more educated, or they should be, of what's going on in the country and saying like, hey, this is not okay.
With both sides.
Social media.
I'm saying, Ozzy always makes it a point. People, even in my social media, people get mad when I say this, because he taught me presidents and politics do not fix your personal problems. And he says that because of where we come from. Meaning, it can be president A, B, C, or D. You better get up to go to work every single day. And by the way, be a better human being, because if you pull a trigger on somebody, it doesn't matter who the president is, you're going to go to jail. So consequences on the man or the woman. So I feel like sometimes we get caught up on everything, but it's also being educated of like, even on both sides, for anything in sports. Like we were talking about, like when I see some comments made, because Twitter, again, I think Twitter is a very young group. I see kids make comments, and this is all my Twitter wars are literally against kids that are like 25 and younger, because they'll make comments on like baseball, like the greatest manager of all time is so-and-so, or the greatest. And I'm like, dude, how old were you in 05? You were 2. You didn't watch that team. You didn't. You have to rewatch everything. It's talking about like this collective bargaining, the dangers of like, they didn't live through a strike. So people that are like older, that are like maybe 10 years older than me, they're like 94. Like I wouldn't watch other sports. So like this flirting back and forth between money and negotiation.
It's like playing a dangerous game of chicken.
Well, because you didn't live it. Okay, if you don't live it, you're like, okay, well, like for example, you're reading you're there reading about World War II, and I don't care how great of a movie they made. You leave the movie and you're like, yeah, World War II is there, but I could survive it. You literally leave like that. The Great Depression, you leave like because of the human being, you always think you can overcome everything. But if they put you in the middle of it, I bet you start thinking about it very, very differently.
Yeah, and then speaking of the war, it's like, Drew Brees made his comment. I was like, we've had blacks fight for this country. Drew Brees' grandfather probably went to a parade. These guys weren't even allowed to vote. So it's like everything that's going on in the country, I feel like people are getting more educated because of social media, Twitter, the younger generation seeing these things. I just hope, because we have a lot of parents watching us and people will watch us later, parents out there, please do your job, educate your children, be nice to everyone until they're not nice to you, because those are the people that you can actually make something happen. Because a blackout post, that's not going to do anything. It's about every person. And if you see someone being racist to somebody or treating someone unfairly for no reason, help.
Yes.
Say something. Don't stay quiet, because look at those officers that were there. They're in trouble because they stayed quiet. And did you know that those officers had only been on the job for a week?
Yeah, they didn't know any better.
They didn't speak up. They didn't say anything. So obviously, don't anyone get hurt out there. But if you do see someone being racist to somebody else or unfriendly or unkind, check them. Say something. Say, don't be like that. That's how you make change and create change. Young kids, high school kids, all those people out there, be better. Even parents, every day you can think like thoughts that come to your mind. Instead of when you see someone, you don't say that's a black man or that's a Latino man. That's just a man.
Yeah,
that's the point that we get to.
And we always have to get better, because from a sports standpoint, and one thing that I hated to see, okay, is this whole belief where they see an athlete or someone with a voice and say, well, just worry about sports, Ozzy. Just cover sports. Guys, before sports is something that we love and some of us get paid to talk about it.
But I'm saying person.
You're still a human being.
Yeah.
Like, put it this way.
I'll give you an example before you. Sorry to cut you off, but the lady that said to me in my building, where are you going? I don't live here, blah, blah. I posted it on my Facebook, and everyone wrote, wow, that's very awful, blah, blah, blah. One person said to me, shut up and go count your daddy's money, and just blasted me. And all I said was, I replied to him. I said, hey, man, thank you for your comment. You got to get the hate out of your heart. Like, but that's everybody positive. And one person said, it's still on there. One person completely, stop being a crybaby. And in my post, I never said what color the lady was. I still haven't. No. I just said a lady. I never said a white woman. But that's and the people out there still, without knowing me, go count your dad's money, go do this, go do that. Very insulting. But they're all there. And I just the whole time.
But pardon me. You believe that for 50 years.
Correct.
That's the problem.
And I've never had a problem. But if you that's what's going on with everything that's right now.
But I'll give you something. Because Facebook was on there. Michael Jordan, okay? Greatest basketball player of all time. We've been praising him for 3 weeks on his mentality of toughness and him being ruthless to his teammates and always being about winning. Okay? If Michael Jordan got pulled over and something happened to him and they didn't recognize that it was Michael Jordan, that could happen to Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Because Michael Jordan, before him being Michael Jordan, he is a black man. And that's where the difference is of when people talk about like, yes, like certain things don't happen because they're like, oh, we recognize you. Hey, man, how's it going? It wasn't because of the art. And that's the problem people don't get it.
You remember what they did to Muhammad Ali?
Yes.
And the easy and biggest
example. You have grandkids that are going to grow up in a household that speaks Spanish. And Adela's growing up in a suburb of Chicago. Adela will be mixed. She's going to speak Spanish. Her grandparents are Spanish. So this will affect her. This will affect Ozzie Jr. It can happen to her. So it's everybody that has that responsibility to say, hey, Adela, you're different.
So more of the story is you can redeem yourself. Don't let your ego get in front of you and make yourself better. Again, we hope that baseball's back. Thank you again for watching another episode of Being Guillén. Guys, mental health, stay sane. Talk to people. We will get through this. We have overcome greater challenges in the history of mankind. So thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next Friday.
Happy birthday, AJ.
Hey, you guys.